What's going on, everyone? So, per Shams, the Charlotte Hornets are trying to challenge the Lakers voiding the Mark Williams trade. So, per Shams, the Charlotte Hornets have been in contact with the NBA as they explore options to dispute the Los Angeles Lakers' failed physical assessment of Mark Williams. Sources tell ESPN the Williams-Dalton Connect trade was nixed Saturday, and now Hornets weighing avenues to challenge. I thought he was their guy. Right? Didn't they release that statement and talk about how he's this, that, and the other, and we're so happy to have him back? And, the Lakers aggressively pursued him, and, they had to have him, and we made the tough choice to get off of him, and how quickly things change, right? All of a sudden, they're really desperate to get off of this guy. And what? This is going to, the NBA is going to be like, yeah, you're right, you're not desperate. Now, obviously, look, if the Lakers did basically try to find an excuse to get out of the trade because maybe they're like, hey, we overpaid or we did too much, right? And we don't want to do that. Then, maybe the league looks at it. But again, I imagine the Lakers have the documentation. I'm sure that the Lakers have the information. I'm sure that they're going to just hand it over and be like, here, this is what our concerns. We were led to believe this. Here's why we disputed it. Case closed. Both sides have to agree. Everything has to get pushed through. Everything has to get finalized. This is why you do these physicals and these exams and stuff before trades get pushed. If Lakers have a higher standard than the Hornets, that's not the Lakers' problem, right? That's their standard to complete a trade, right? So I don't see this getting resolved. What I would be okay with personally is if the NBA kind of became the middleman and they were able to renegotiate, right? The NBA is probably going to be the mediator, right? And they're going to say, okay, why don't you want to do the trade? Lakers are going to express, hey, we're giving up all these assets for a guy for a long-term potential, right? We want this guy to be our center for the next 10 plus years. But due to what we are seeing based on the physical and the exams that we gave him, he's not going to be capable of doing that. We don't want a short-term answer. We want a long-term answer, right? And then the Hornets are going to be like, well, you guys, you agreed to the trade, right? And then my hope is that the NBA goes, okay, what would it take for you to want to get this trade done and finalized and kind of renegotiate, right? Is that an option? Because so if the Lakers could just do, say, Dalton Connect, Cam Reddish, and say a pick swap and a second instead of the first, and they could still keep that first, it's worth the risk in my opinion. Because again, yes, there may be long-term concerns about him, but for now, you can kind of manage those and adjust it, but you still have your first round pick that how bad do you want to get off of Mark Williams? Right? Hey, you want to get off of him that bad? It looks like you guys look desperate to get off of him. We were led to believe this. Turns out that it's this. We don't want to give up all the assets for this. We wanted to give up all the assets for this, right? So if you want us to complete the deal, we'll complete the deal, but we want our first. We want to keep our first. You still get a young player in Dalton Connect. You still get the pick swap. Instead of the first, we'll give you a second, right? This is unprecedented, uncharted territory. The problem with that, and the reason why I don't think the NBA would do that, is because then teams could kind of work around, right? Now they have a cheat code, right? So I don't think the NBA would do that. I don't even think the NBA would resolve this. I just think the NBA will be like, hey, they don't want to do it. They don't want to do it. Because as soon as the NBA starts getting involved and starts forcing things, right? Now all of a sudden there's that precedent, right? There's that standard now that teams can manipulate. Teams can, if they wanted to get a trade, how far does this go, right? And now if you're the NBA, you just want to go, hey, this is between you two guys. You guys are two separate entities under the main, conglomerate, right? If they don't want to do it, they don't want to do it, right? They have every right to nix the trade. They have every right to say no to the trade, right? But if you want to do it, well, then that sucks, right? Renegotiate in the offseason. You guys can have new conversations in the offseason. And Lakers they might go in the offseason and go, yeah, hey, we still want Mark Williams. We're just not going to give up everything that we were willing to give up for Mark Williams. right? But if the Lakers could keep that first, right? If the Lakers could keep the first, trade a pick swap because they get a pick swap freed in the offseason, so you'd still have 3 pick swaps, you'd get another second available. So basically, the Lakers would have the exact same assets that they have right now. They just turn Dalton Connect, Cam Reddish into Mark Williams, right? And if you're the Hornets, it's like, well, you want to get off of Mark Williams long term. You still get your guy in Dalton Connect. You still get, the pick swap and a second, right? Like, so you still get some stuff. Or maybe you give up 2 pick swaps and keep your second, right? Like, whatever. My point is, can the Lakers use this as negotiation tactic to only have to give up Connect, Reddish, plus assets, but keep the first? Because if you can keep the first, that's huge for the Lakers. The Lakers would have Mark Williams. They'd still have Luka as your duo for now and the future, plus Austin Reeves and, whoever else ends up sticking around long term, right? And then you would have that first, plus LeBron supposedly is willing to take a discount in the offseason to kind of complete this team. Lakers would have so many options to now go out and contend for championships, right? But if you have to do the trade as is, you're very limited on assets in the offseason. You still have expiring contracts, which we've seen are very valuable in this new CBA. You'd have, still, 3 pick swaps. You'd still have a second. Like, you would have some assets to get some deals done, get some trades done. $40 million in expiring. LeBron could free up the full mid-level exception, right? And then some if he wanted to. I mean, LeBron could take whatever he wants. I don't think he's going to play for like a vet minimum or anything, but he could take, a $30 million haircut and just be like, if you can get the guys, right? He was willing to take, I think it was $20 million in the offseason, right? But you have to get the guys. Right, so like if a Bruce Brown and a Miles Turner want to come, LeBron James could figure out a way to make that work, right? You sign and trade for one, sign the other, right? Like you could work it out, right? Sign and trade for Miles Turner and then use your full mid-level to bring in a Bruce Brown, something like that, right? Boom, there you go. Now you got Bruce Brown with Miles Turner, LeBron, Luka, Austin Reeves, Dorian Finney-Smith, so on and so forth. They kind of go down the list. That's definitely an option. That's definitely a possibility. That's definitely something that could be on the horizon, but if I'm the Lakers, like, right, and if there really was, and it wasn't just the Lakers, like, we decided we don't want to do it no more, like they got cold feet, essentially, right? If it's not that, then the Lakers shouldn't have to do it, right? Like, again, they have their standard. They have their, physical regime. They have their conditioning. They have their, kind of trial and error that they want these players to fulfill. And if that player doesn't fulfill it, then that's not on the Lakers. Lakers shouldn't have to be like, well, he failed all the physicals, right? We were again, the reason we traded for this guy was because of this. He's coming up as this. We don't want this for all those assets. Yeah, we'd still take this, but not for what we would have to give up in order to get him. If they're willing to kind of come down on their asking price, then sure, let's do it. The problem is I don't think the NBA would do that, because then if that's the case, then you have teams that are willing to kind of, like, you're going to get a team that does this purposely, right? Purposefully, right? Like, the thing is, though, is like the Lakers, the difference is that, like, I guess my counter argument would be Lakers have the documentation to prove it, right? It's not just them saying like, no, like, what, hey, we don't want to do this no more. We don't like how he tested in the physical. No, it's like we actually have the documentation, right? But also the Hornets would have to agree to that too. The Hornets would have to. So even if you did set the precedent and other teams try to like rig the system, the other team still has to agree. So the other team's like, nah, we're not doing that. You're crazy. Then it doesn't matter. Then the trade just gets nixed and then everyone moves on and they're done. But if you could do that, I would do that, right? Like if you can keep your first, right? Because they want Dalton Connect. They clearly want to get off of Mark Williams, right? To me, it shows desperation. Again, I thought he was your guy. I thought he was the guy that you wanted. I thought this was the guy for your future. I thought this was the guy for your franchise. I thought that this was the center that you didn't want to trade. You didn't want to get rid of him, right? He was the franchise cornerstone for your team. And now all of a sudden you're crying to the NBA because it got nixed? So what is it? Either he is the guy and he is healthy and he is all the things that you're preaching and saying that he is, or he's not. Guess what this means? This means in the offseason, they're going to have to trade Mark Williams. You think Mark Williams is going to want to be with Charlotte after all this? Right? You think their best option was to just do what they said. Right? The statement, stick to the statement, and then follow through with that, and then just tell Mark Williams, like, look, they gave us like an insane offer. We love you, and you work it out, right? You hope that bygones can be bygones. But now Mark Williams is looking at this and he's like, dude, you told me that I was the guy. You made a public statement telling me I was the guy, and now you're trying to get rid of me again, right? So what is it, right? So my thing is that I think the Lakers are going to get him at some point, whether it's now or the offseason, but they're going to get him for half the price because they're going to be like, hey, what do you want to do? And I don't think any other team is going to touch him because of the reports, right? And on top of that, he might be like, look, I only want to go to the Lakers now because Lakers are the only team that wanted me, right? Like, so now I think the Lakers are going to get Mark Williams in the offseason. They're probably going to get him dirt cheap. I think they're going to get him for not dirt cheap because you're still going to probably have to give up Connect, but it'll probably be like Connect and then like 2 pick swaps or something like that rather than a first, and then they'll end up getting Mark Williams, and then they'll still have their first, they'll still have everything, the rich will get richer, and let's go contend for a championship, hopefully back-to-back. But let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? What is your opinion on this information? How do you feel about this, them trying to get back into it? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I love to hear it either way. Let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. We enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.